Hello everyone, welcome back to the latest lecture session. I guess we have been discussing mass balance, and in that context we looked at application of mass balance to a generic example, and then I believe we looked at analyzing a particular lake where phosphorus was coming into the lake, going out of the lake and being dumped into the lake by a particular waste stream from an industry, and then also phosphorus settling along with various other sediments to the bottom of the lake. We looked at that. So let's just have a quick recap and move on to other relevant aspects. So here we have practical control volumes. As I mentioned, let's say if you have a plume being given out from a particular industry's chimney, you can model the effects of this plume as in what its effects would be at your home which is in the vicinity, let's say, right. You can also look at a very generic example of your city's air pollution, let's say. That's something that you can do, but you can take it as 1D model, right, or 0-dimension model or 2D models. Again, they are all depend upon your mass balance, right. Or obviously if you are concerned about the quality of the river at your home, let's say if it's downstream of Yamuna or Delhi and you want to know what the situation will be out there, obviously you can also model this. This will obviously be a plug flow reactor, right. Or you can model entire lakes as continuously stirred tank reactors, let's say, right. So how or what's the approach? You have to choose a control volume, right, and you have to look at or understand how is the mass coming in, flow coming in into concentration of the compound upon which you are applying the mass balance that is coming in, and again mass going out, right, and how is it being converted within the system. So again control volume. So obviously what do we have here? So here is the accumulation term, overall rate of change of amount of material in the system, right, and here is overall rate of flow of material into the system, that's in, overall rate of flow of material out of the system, overall rate of production of material in the system by reactions, and overall rate of loss of material in the system by reaction. If not, if there are other sources or sinks, obviously that also have to be considered, right. So for macroscopic scale equations or systems, pardon me, this is the equation, accumulation term, mass coming in, mass going out, being formed and being lost, let's say. You can also transform this so that it can be used for your case when the system is changing with distance, not system, the concentration is changing with distance. We can do that also. And we have V dc by dt, Q in Cn minus Q out C out plus volume into rate of formation. So just looking at some of the terms here, volume is obviously the control volume of the system. C is the concentration of the compound of concern inside the system, and Q in, Q out, flow coming into the system and going out of the system. C in, C out, concentration of compound in the flow coming into the system and going out of the system. RF and RL are rates of formation and loss of the compound within the system. Again, obviously if there are any other sources or sinks, you have to take care of them, right. So mass flux coming into and out of the system or going out of the system, and reactions affecting the concentration of the compound, right. And just a generic what do we say explanation here about the relevant reactions and rates of reactions. If A goes to B and rate constant is K, and rate of the reaction here is Ka. Keep in mind that it is rate of the reaction. It is depend upon the concentration of the reactants and not on the concentration of the products, right. Rate constant times the concentration of the reactants, right, raised to their stoichiometric coefficients, but here the stoichiometric coefficient is 1. So here it is 1, let us say rate of the reaction. And rate of, well, what do we have here? Okay, the generic example again. So stoichiometric coefficients are A and B here for the reactants, and obviously products, they do not play a role here with respect to rate of the forward reaction. So the rate of the forward reaction is equal to the rate constant here, rate constant small k times concentration of compound A, which is typically given by this particular square brackets, concentration of A raised to the stoichiometric coefficient, concentration of the other product raised to its stoichiometric coefficient, let us see. So, that is how you say rate of the forward reaction here, let us see, right. And what else? So, rate of formation of A is 0 in this case, as you can see A is not being formed. Rate of loss of A is equal to the rate of the reaction, right, and rate of formation of B is equal to the rate of reaction, and rate of loss of B is equal to 0. B is being formed, but not lost, that is what we have out here, right. Or in general, the general terms, I guess, you have this, if you have A plus B going to C plus D, and these are the stoichiometric coefficients, right. Rate of formation or loss of A by the stoichiometric coefficient of A is equal to rate of loss of B by the stoichiometric coefficient of B is equal to rate of formation of C by stoichiometric coefficient of C is equal to rate of formation of D by stoichiometric coefficient of D is equal to rate of the reaction, right. This is obviously the generic case. Obviously, loss and formation, so you have to use plus or minus as you deem fit, right. So, here A plus 2B goes to C, rate constant is K, rate of the reaction is K A B square. So, rate of A here is going to be equal to minus K A B square, or rate of loss of A is equal to K A B square, I guess, right. So, again generic aspects here. So, rate of formation of A is 0, but rate of loss of A is equal to rate of the reaction. Similarly, rate of formation of B is equal to 0, but rate of loss of B is equal to 2 times the rate of the reaction. That is from the equation that I just had out here, right. So, rate of formation of C is equal to rate of reaction, and rate of loss of C obviously is 0, because we have the reaction going in this direction, right. So, again let us look at this example we looked at earlier, but I guess I jotted down the equations in a better manner. So, here we have mass coming in, mass going out, phosphorus coming in, phosphorus settling out of the system, right. So, we have the macroscopic scale equation here, accumulation term, mass coming in, mass going out, and the reactions here that are affecting the concentration of your particular compound. So, at steady state obviously this term is 0, and Q is the same, that is what we saw in the earlier example, the flow rate coming in and going out is the same. So, C in minus C out plus the mass rate in gram per second of phosphorus coming in minus Vs, this is into A into C, right, that is what we have here. Vs is the settling rate, phosphorus settling rate, area of your particular surface area of your pond, and C is the concentration of phosphorus within the pond, right. And let us move on and simplify this. So, one aspect as we mentioned here is C is equal to C naught, because it is a continuously stirred system, right. And so, whatever compound concentration is within the system is going to be the same as the concentration that is going to leave the system. So, C is equal to C out, right, this is C out, not equal to not initially, C out, right. So, you can play around with this equation, and this is what you end up with, I guess. Q is going to, C is going to be dependent upon these variables, let us see, right. So, let us move on. So, here we have an example that I guess will bring in various aspects together. So, an experiment is run in the lab, and here we in the lab we typically conduct batch experiments, right, and that shows that a toxic compound which we are referring to as trimethyl double death, or which we are referring to I guess is TMDD, as TMDD, is removed or degraded by a chemical treatment process. The experiment was conducted in a batch system, which is a beaker in the lab with a solution that initially contained 10 milligram per liter trimethyl double death. C initial is equal to 10 milligram per liter. Many samples were taken at different times, but all but one were lost due to poor storage conditions. Okay. So, that sample was taken after 30 minutes of reaction and showed a trimethyl double death concentration of 2 milligram per liter, right. How much is it? 2 milligram per liter. So, typically what we try to do is we have concentration here and time here. and let us say we have the initial concentration at time 0 and we try to measure the concentration at different times and we fit a model so that we can understand what is the order of the reaction and try to predict the behavior of the system in other systems, let us say, right. So, here though looks like we, being the blunderbuss that we are, we lost all these samples. So, we only have the initial sample and this final sample, let us say, right. So, even then you can get some idea about the system, but obviously it is going to be relatively off the mark, right. More the data, more your estimation is going to be nearer to your true rate constant here, right. So, here we have time taken after 30 minutes, this is time in minutes, let us say, and here is what we have, and the concentration was 2 milligram per liter, right. So, what else do we have? We are now asked to calculate the hydraulic retention time. So, hydraulic retention time, to refresh your memory, we said was theta equal to x by u. This is typically used in plug flow reactors. Let us say a river is flowing in this direction, and let us say from Haridwar to Roorkee, let us say this is x, right, and u is the velocity of flow of your fluid. X by u will give you the time that your compound will spend within this system, right, or within the river between Haridwar and Roorkee, right. That is what it will give you an idea about hydraulic retention time. So, again if you multiply that by cross sectional area, that is going to be equal to, I guess in a way, V by Q, right. So, what do we have here? We have, or we are asked to calculate the theta that would be required to achieve an effluent concentration of 1 TMDD from an initial concentration of 10 at steady state in treatment systems that are plug flow and also completely mixed flow. So, again here we have a case where we have a batch reactor, all this data is from batch, and then we are asked to approximate or understand or estimate the behavior in a plug flow system and also in a completely mixed flow reactor now. So, assume that the trimethyl double death is to be removed by a process that can be described as a first order reaction, right, or first order rate equation, and the rate of loss is K1 times the concentration of trimethyl double death, right. So, that is what we have out here. So, now obviously what are the aspects that link what information you can glean from your batch reactor with what you are going to use in your plug flow and your CSTR systems, right. For example, let us say I want to see how this chemical that is being released by the industrial zone in Badrabad is going to affect the population in Roorkee now, right. Let us say if that particular pollutant is being released into the Ganga canal, right, and now how do I do that? Let us say first I need to understand the reactions that are going to occur, let us say within that particular what do we say volume, not volume, control volume. So, I need to first conduct that experiment in the lab to find out what order of the reaction is it and how is it being affected, let us say, right. So, I am going to get the rate constant here, right. From the lab I will be able to get the rate constant, and now I will be able to use that variable to predict what will happen to the compound in the canal, let us say, right. So, that is what we are trying to do out here. So, now let us have our batch system. Let me see if I have a blank slate here. Okay, so blank slate is here, but let us try to calculate what we have. So, from the lab scale, what is the not lab scale for the batch reactor? Again, V dC by dt, Q in C in, mass coming in minus Q out C out, mass going out plus volume into rate of formation minus rate of loss. As you know, no flow coming in, no flow going out. So, both of these are equal to 0, let us see, for a batch reactor, again for a batch reactor, right, for a batch reactor. And now what do we have? We are going to end up with dC by dt is equal to rate of formation minus rate of loss. But is trimethyl double death being formed? No, it is not, but it is being lost. And what is the rate of loss? It is given as K1 times concentration of that particular compound, trimethyl double death. So, dC by dt is equal to minus K C. So, again you can integrate and so on and so forth. So, we will I guess end up with C t equal to C naught or C initial into e power minus k t, let us see, right. So, concentration at time t, and what do we have? We know that C initial or C naught, here it is not C out, let me say C at time is equal to 0, right. C at time is equal to 0, we know is 10 milligram per liter, and C at time is equal to 30 minutes is equal to what now? I think it was 2 milligram per liter, right. Typically we need to bother about the units, but here as you can see C t by C t equal to at time equal to 0 is equal to e power minus k t. We see that the terms or the units are cancelling out. So, we do not need to really bother about that. So, 10 or 2 by 10 is equal to e to the power of minus k, which is what we are trying to calculate, into 30, let us see. So, k value, we can get the value of k in minute inverse, let us see, right. So, but obviously typically depending on how you are going to use it in parts A and B, you are going to have to change the units here, right. But again this is the process, and keep in mind that we are just calculating the rate constant. So, let me erase this particular aspect. So, again we will just regurgitate I guess what we have been looking at. Again let us be done with it. So, we have the mass balance equation for a batch system, that is going to be relatively simple, because we have no flow coming in, no flow going out, and no rate of formation of the compound. We know that it is only being lost. So, dC by dt equal to minus kc, and integrating and so on and so forth. So, looks like we have it to be 0.05 minute inverse, which you can convert into seconds, let us see. So, now the second part of the system was to use this for a batch, not batch, plug flow system, and I guess at steady state. If it was not mentioned, we are assuming steady state, let us see. So, we know from the fundamental mass balance equation u dC by dx is equal to rate of formation minus rate of loss, and at steady state this is 0, x by u is theta, theta is equal to x by u, the hydraulic retention time. So, dC by d theta is equal to rate of formation, which is again 0, minus rate of loss, right. So, dC by d theta is equal to minus k, which you already calculated in part, not part, in the initial cases. Again when we say rate constant, it is a constant for that particular set of temperature, right, for those conditions, pardon me. So, obviously whatever you do in your batch reactor, the rate constant is still going to be the same even in your plug flow system, let us say, right. So, k is going to be a constant and k c, let us see, right. So, again what do we have? C at theta is equal to C when theta is equal to 0 into e power minus k theta. Again keep in mind it is not changing with time, but the C is changing with distance, because theta is equal to x by u, x is the variable, u is the constant here, right. So, but again when we say dC by d theta, it means that we are changing d theta is equal to 1 by u dx, right. We are concerned with the change with distance, let us see, right, or the average time that your molecule is spending in that system. And what did the question ask us for? I think we have, what do we have? Okay, we need it for a plug flow reactor, and let us say we want a final concentration of 1 milligram per liter if the initial one is 10, fine. So, where were we? Okay, here. So, we know that initial one is 10, final one is 1. So, k is something that you know. So, you can calculate theta in terms of what is it now, because this is minute inverse. So, you can calculate theta in terms of minutes, right. So, that is how you do it. So, even for your other case, what is it? Okay, let us see it calculate for the plug flow reactor. So, dC by d theta will be rate of formation minus rate of loss, rate of formation is 0 minus k1c. C at theta is equal to, this is not time obviously, at theta naught, that is a typo on my behalf. C at theta is equal to C when theta is equal to 0 into e to the power of minus k theta, right. This is for your plug flow. This is not time, but hydraulic retention time. And so, looks like when you go through the relevant equation, you get 42.9 minutes. So, okay, so now what next? We are in part C, we are going to calculate it for CSTR or the continuously stirred tank reactor. So, here we are going to use the macroscopic equation. So, dC by dt is equal to mass coming in minus mass going out plus volume into rate of formation minus rate of loss. Right here, if it is at steady state, this is 0. So, what else do we have? So, here 0 is equal to Q into C in minus C out plus volume into rate of formation is 0 minus rate of loss is K times C, right. But C and C out are the same, right. C and C out are the same, right. So, this is the term that we have. And now we have one equation and one unknown, but what is that unknown though? Because we know that C in is 10 and C out or the final one is 1 milligram per liter. But my unknown is theta, but if you look at it, we know that theta is equal to V by Q, volume by Q is volume per time, right. So, that is units of time, obviously theta equal to V by Q, right. So, what do we need to do? Let us say we are going to take this term out onto the left hand side. So, V into Kc will be equal to Q into Cn minus C out or C, let us see, right, and theta equal to V by Q. So, I am going to bread this term out here. So, V by Q, which is equal to theta, is equal to Cn minus C by Kc, I guess, right. So, that is your hydraulic retention time that we are going to have to calculate. So, for removal of what do we say, the compound from 10 milligram per liter to 1 milligram per liter in a CSTR, the compound or the water has to spend this much of time. For a plug flow reactor, it has to be 43 minutes, it has to spend 43 minutes. In a CSTR, we are going to have to calculate in this way. So, let us see what we have. So, all this is the same stuff as we discussed earlier or right now, right, at steady state. So, where is this? So, this is what we have out here. If I made any minor errors in the calculation, so you can obviously correct that. So, theta I guess is 168 minutes. So, obviously in a plug flow reactor for the same removal efficiency 10 to 1, we needed I think 43 minutes, but for a plug for a CSTR, for the same removal from 10 to 1, you need 168 minutes though, right. Again, we can look at the logic why, but I will leave that to you maybe for an exam question, I guess. So, next aspect is, if you remember, we were talking about BOD and COD, and then we talked about how to measure BOD, and then we jumped into trying to estimate BOD for various lakes or rivers, and in that context we had to go and talk about mass balance, right. So, we are now coming back and going to see how are we going to estimate BOD and why that is important. Relatively, let us say you have Delhi out here, Yamuna out here, let us say, and Agra and Mathura, or Mathura and Agra I think, right. So, you waste dumped here, it reaches here, you have 200-300 million liters per day capacity plants that pump water out here based on the water drawn from river Yamuna now. So, let us say you are concerned with the effect of the pollutants discharged from Delhi at Mathura and Agra now, right. So, let us look at what it is. So, control volume is, I am now trying to estimate or model the BOD decay within this BOD bottle. What is this BOD bottle? This is where I am going to conduct my BOD test. So, the control volume is my BOD bottle, right. And we are applying mass balance on the organic content. Obviously, we need to know what it is we are trying to apply the mass balance on. Is it on the dissolved oxygen or the organic content or such? Here we are saying that it is on the organics in the bottle, let us see. And the mass balance equation, obviously there is no flow coming in and no flow going out. So, it can't be a plug flow, it can't be a CSTR, it is going to be a batch reactor. So, for batch reactor obviously mass coming in and mass going out are 0, and are the organics being formed in this particular reaction? No, they are not, that is why rate of formation is 0. So, I am now left with this particular term, and C is the concentration of organics at time t, and here we are saying that we are going to use the standard nomenclature LT. What is this C? C is the concentration of the compound at time t, but in this case what is C? It is the organic concentration of the organics within that particular BOD bottle, and we are saying that we are going to replace C with LT, let us see, right. Okay. And LT is nothing but the amount of oxygen demand remaining after time t. Well, again, what do we say organics, or how do we approximate organics? We are approximating it by the demand in oxygen demand, let us say difference in oxygen after a certain period in time, that will give you an estimate about the organics left there. But again here it is the oxygen demand remaining after time t, right, oxygen demand remaining, not oxygen demand until time t. Oxygen demand remaining after time t is nothing but the organics left after time t, right. And here what are the equations that we are concerned with? RL is the rate of loss of organics, your organics are being consumed, right, which is assumed to be pseudo first order, and it is going to be equal to rate of loss is equal to K times LT. It is going to be dependent upon your organic content that is still present in your, so the first order is organics going to products, right. So, rate of loss or rate of reaction here is rate constant times concentration of the organics. So, that is equal to K times LT, right. So, K is the pseudo first order rate constant for degradation of organics by the microbes, right. So, dLT by dt is equal to minus KLT. What is LT? The organic content left in the bottle after time t. So, such systems as the BOD bottle where there is no mass flow coming in or going out, obviously again this is something we discussed earlier, it is called a batch reactor, right. So, what else do I have here? I have dLT by dt, batch reactor, integrating so on and so forth, I get LT is equal to L naught into e power minus KT. Again what is LT? It is the organics remaining after time t, right. So, LT is the organic content after time t, but we need BOD at time t. But what is BOD at time t? Which is the organics that has been consumed by time t, not the one remaining after time t. So, BOD is the organic content that has been consumed or degraded by time t, right. So, thus BOD is nothing but initial organic content minus organic content left after time t. So, that is equal to L naught minus LT, which is equal to L naught minus L naught into e power minus KT, right. So, now we end up with this particular term BODT is equal to L naught into, L naught is initial organic content, 1 minus e power minus KT, right. So, that is what we have. So, I need to discuss other aspects, but I guess that is enough for today. So, with that I will end today's session, and I will see you in the next session, and thank you.